Hi, Trajan. This is Grandma. Hey, I have a book here. It's called Animals of the Sea and Shore. And I thought I'd read it to you, okay? Because you brought books to me on the phone. So it says, My easy-to-read true book, Animals of the Sea and Shore. Talks about animals with fur, animals with fins, animals with many legs, animals with shells, some with sharp spines on their bodies, with soft bodies. Sounds pretty good, huh? So animals with fur. Let me see. So it says here. This is not going to work, is it? Okay. A fur seal's home is in the sea. It can swim very well. It comes up out of the water to breathe, and a seal eats many fish. A harbor seal's home is in a harbor along a coast. A seal's babies are called pups. See? Okay. Whales live in water all the time. They come to the top to breathe. Great spouts of water go up into the air when they push air out of their lungs. Whales do not have so much fur as their relatives, like seals. They have only a little fur around their noses when they are babies. See, and there's a whale. Ooh, he's a big whale. Okay. Even if he was a baby whale, he would be big. Okay. Fish have fins. An elephant shark is a big fish. It lives in the sea. It is larger than an elephant. Some other kinds of sharks are not so big as an elephant shark. Many queer-looking fish live in the sea. And here's the pictures of those. There's the shark. And there's the other kind of weird fish there, huh? Okay. I don't know if that word is PC anymore, but it's in the book. Many good food fishes live in the sea. Like food fishes is like what we eat. Cod, herring, salmon, tuna. I think you can only have little bits of that because they're full of protein. Seahorses are a kind of fish. They have fins and gills just as other fishes have. A seahorse spends most of its life clinging with its tail to seaweed. I didn't know that. A father seahorse has a pouch on his body. Did you know fathers, yeah, they take care of the babies. Just like your papa. So mother seahorse puts eggs in his pouch and he protects the eggs until they hatch. Well, your papa doesn't do that. Okay. So here's the fish, like what we eat. Salmon, cod, herring. You probably wouldn't like herring. They pickle herring. Doesn't taste good. And some people like it. And those are seahorses. See the seahorses? All right. Animals with many legs. A lobster has 10 legs. That's 5 and 5. It has a hard covering over its body. When a lobster gets too big for its hard coat, it splits the coat and crawls out, and then it gets a new one. A lobster may grow to be 2 feet long. I think that's bigger than you. Maybe not. A lobster is good to eat. Oh, they are. And butter. It may be caught in a trap called a pot. Live lobsters are dark green with a little red and blue on them. They turn red when they are cooked. Oh, I didn't show you the lobsters. That's the lobster, and that's what they call a pot, how they catch them in a pot. It looks like a cage, but they call it a lobster pot. Okay, lobster pot. A lobster is good to eat. Okay, shrimp, which we eat, come from the sea. Oh, I like shrimp. They live on the sandy bottoms of the sea. They can dart backwards very fast. Sometimes a shrimp backs into the sand with only its eyes and long antennas sticking out, and that's how it hides from predators. Crabs also have 10 legs. They can walk forward, backward, and sideways. Oh, sideways. Can you say sideways? Okay, some of them crawl backwards into mud or sand. Many kinds of crabs live in the sea. Some of them are good to eat. I always have a hard time cracking their legs. There's the shrimp, and there's the crab. Can you say crab? Crab. Crab. Plants and animals sometimes grow on the back of a spider crab. A spider crab is not easy to see when there are plants and animals growing on it because it just looks like plants. Okay, a hermit crab crawls into an empty shell to live, and a fiddler crab moves its claws slowly back and forth. So these are different kinds of crabs. Crab. Crab. Do you like this about fish and stuff? Do you get to go to the ocean? Barnacles have many close neighbors. A young barnacle fastens itself to a rock or ship bottom and lives there the rest of its life. Well, unless people scrape it off. You know, the sailors go on the side of the boats and they clean off the barnacles. It covers itself with a shell, and then goose barnacles hang from the place which they chose for a home. Acorn barnacles, they're pretty because they put themselves together. They hide in their shells when they are not covered with water. And when they're covered with water, they put out their feet and kick food into their mouths. Okay, those are barnacles. And those are acorn barnacles. Can you say acorn? Acorn. Okay. Animals with shells. Oysters. Can you say oyster? Oyster. Oyster. Have two shells. The soft part of an oyster is between the shells. Oyster babies swim about in the sea. Grown-up oysters are fastened to the bottom of the ocean. The water of the ocean brings tiny plants and animals to them. And then those are food for the oysters. Okay, oyster drills are enemies of oysters. They drill holes in oyster shells and eat the soft bodies of the oysters. Oyster drills have one shell. Okay, so here are the oysters, and here's the oyster drill. He's bad. But if you saw him on the beach, you'd want to save him because the shell is pretty. Okay, hold on. Here we go. Scallops. Ooh, I love scallops. Scallops are close relatives of oysters. They have two shells. When we eat scallops, we eat the muscle that holds the two shells together. Clams are relatives of oysters too. They live along the seashore. They bury themselves under the mud and sand. Clams are good to eat. Oh, I love clams. Get a bucket of clams. A queen conch has one shell on the outside of its body. It is one of the biggest animals with a shell. It may be a foot long. It has one foot with a claw on it. It uses its foot to go skipping along over the ocean bottom. Skip, 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 skip. The meat of the queen conch is good to eat. I've never tried that. Okay, here are those clams and the conch. I've never had that. Have you? No, I don't think you have. Ask your papa. Squids. Ooh, squids are good too. Squids are sometimes called sea arrows. They can swim backward. They protect themselves by shooting ink into the water so that their enemies cannot see them. Squids can change their color to match the color around them. Squids catch animals with their 10 long arms. There are suckers on their arms. Some kinds of squids are less than a foot long. Giant squids are more than 50 feet long. Wow, you need to ask your papa how long's 50 feet. That's half a football field. A squid's arms are about as long as a man's legs. Wow. Can you say wow? An octopus lives in dark caves down in the sea. It has 8 arms around its mouth. It eats many crabs. An octopus can walk on its arms. Can you walk on your arms? An octopus swims backwards. Look, there's the octopus. He's funny looking, isn't he? Do you like this book? I think it was like your Papa's and Auntie Jennifer's. Animals with sharp spines. A starfish has arms that go out from its body like points on a star. Some kinds of starfish have more than 5 arms. If a starfish loses an arm, did you know a new one will grow in its place? A basket starfish has many arms. Each arm of a starfish has little suckers on it. The suckers are called tube feet. The tube feet help the starfish to move around. So here's a starfish, a regular one, and there are the other kinds of starfish. Do you see that? I've never seen those other ones. I've only seen the regular starfish. Oops, oopsie. Oh, and then it tells how it gets its food. The tube feet help the starfish to get its food. It fastens the tube feet onto the 2 shells of an oyster and pulls the shells apart. It's very strong. Then the starfish can eat the soft body of the oyster. Starfish are enemies of oysters. And a sea urchin is a close relative of a starfish. It has tube feet like those of the starfish. Can you say tube feet? It is easy to see its sharp spine. So here's another picture of the starfish, and and there's the sea urchin. Can you see that? Okay. We're almost finished. Okay. A sand dollar. Oh, I should send you a sand dollar, but your Papa will have to put it someplace safe because they break easy. It's a relative of the starfish. It has sharp spines and tube feet too. It is purple when it is alive. Mine's white because it's not alive anymore. A sand dollar is the shape of a dollar, but much bigger. It lives on the sandy bottoms of the sea. And then sea cucumbers are relatives of the starfish too. They protect themselves by sending out through their mouths a part of their body which turns into a mass of threads. Sounds like something in a movie. Enemies get caught in the massive threads. Okay, so here's the sand dollar. And that's a sea cucumber. I don't think it's a regular cucumber like what we eat. Do you like cucumbers? You can eat cucumbers. They're a free food. Okay. Sea lilies are really animals. They're not flowers, though they have a plant's name. They are beautiful colors. They have arms that wave up in the water like feathers. Can you say feather? Feather. Feather. A moon jelly gets its name because it gives off a light at night. I didn't know that, did you? Wow, it may grow to be more than a foot wide. Jellyfish look quite different when they are out of the water. Their bodies are so soft that they have no shape. They look like jelly. But you must never touch a jellyfish. No. They will sting you. They're not good. No. I mean, they have their purpose in the ocean, but not for people. They will sting you. And you say, ow, mommy. Okay, now, so a Portuguese man of war, is a type of jellyfish. Okay. It looks a little like a ship, and that's why it's called a man of war. The part that looks like a sail is really a bag filled with gas. There are many ribbon-like streamers that hang way down into the water, and the long ribbons have poisonous darts on them. A Portuguese man of war protects itself with its darts. Ooh, there's a Portuguese man. Look at that. Ooh, that's a big jellyfish. Oops. Turn the page. A little coral animal has a very soft body. It builds a house of lime around itself. And the coral we see, so you'll see coral. I'm going to show you pictures. is really the home of many coral animals, and there are many kinds of coral. So here's coral there, and there's coral there. See that one there? That's the kind I'm used to. That one looks like a tree. There's more coral, and it tells you what kind they are. It's moose antler coral, tree coral, finger coral, branching acropore coral, and brain coral. Oh, because it looks like a brain. And fan coral. So, see? Brain. Like your brain. Isn't that funny? Sponges grow on the bottom of the ocean. They are different colors. They may be brown. Can you see brown? Brown. Yellow, or almost black. Sponges do weird things. If a sponge is broken into pieces, each piece will grow into a new sponge. People go fishing for sponges, and many of the sponges we use, like a sponge to wash the dishes, come from the ocean. Did you know that? Oh my goodness. And that's what sponges look like. See, sponges. Sponges. So some animals of the sea are very large and others are very small. Some kinds of animals of the sea come to the top of the water to get air. And most sea animals are able to get their food and air from the water. Did you know water has air in it? Ask your papa and mama. Okay. Animals of the sea have special ways to move about. Some sea animals spend part of their lives fastened to the bottom of the sea. And some sea animals are beautifully colored. Many sea animals are good to eat. Ooh. And that's the end. Animals of the sea and shore. And that's the end. I love you. Bye. Good night.